mispronouncing his name because I knew some tricks, and I knew that he pulled any shit, everything would be dropped. And it was possession of lots of things, and the charges were dropped, but for other reasons. But I had a lot of fun taunting him, and he didn't live it down. Okay, I'm going to read 2 bits from a work called The REM State. It's a bifurcated historical novel set in Southern California, mostly in aerospace, and it takes place at 2 pivotal points. White Christmas, when we got the fuck out of Saigon, and the first invasion of Iraq. And quite ironically, during both those periods, there were shite loads of layoffs going on in aerospace. And this engineer has been laid off, and his wife has just been promoted to principal at a local high school. And as a bonus, she's getting some handcuffs. That's just an aside. Gregor Ranevsky managed to climb through the window without damaging himself any further, or the quiche. The apartment was absolutely quiet, empty. Empty of everything. Every piece, every stick of furniture gone, spirited away. Had Justine decided to move in with Chip? Had she called starving students movers for a midnight run? There was a dankness, a sour smell of a moldy carpet, and another smell, a smell of cannabis. Gregor heard something rustle softly. He followed the sound, saw a flicker strobe of television that he further followed into one of the bedrooms. The suspended parochial school girl child from next door was in a sleeping bag, smoking a joint, watching the CNN war with the sound down, on a small portable television set with a built-in VCR, watching as the silenced kabooms were being franchised to a local television station. Why are you watching the war with the sound down? Gregor asked her. Because I know what they're going to say. This war is so bogus, so nothing. A pause as the young girl child took a hit. A few years ago, we raised money at school for African famine relief. There was a war going on there, too. Tiananmen Square, that was really something to see. We got to see videos in our social studies class. They're gnarly. This is Top Gun, and I don't much like Tom Cruise. Louisa at school, she takes really cool Civil War and famine and disaster stuff on CNN and brings them to school. And she got Top Gun last week, but they kept interrupting it with Desert Storm crap. Desert Storm crap almost makes Top Gun interesting. Another pause, another hit. Sometimes we wrap catastrophes. The social studies teacher plays them, says we have to know about the world. What does she know? She's a nun. We know more than her. Oh. Gregor felt this child look at him and through him, and then back at her portable television set with the built-in VCR. He'd nearly bought one at the Price Club. The young girl child picked up a deck of cards, flipped through them. At first, Gregor thought them to be tarot deck. He made out the images on the cards briefly in the ionized television ghost light. I have a question for you, Gregor said to the young girl child. She looked at him. Okay. What is atomic wave happiness? Easy, she told him. Then what is it? Third element, light metal, lightest, lithium, 6.9 something. Very good. No lithium, no happy, the girl declared. And my grandma killed herself when they took her off lithium. Put her on some new meds, she lost it. Sorry to hear that. I miss her. And then, best friend gave me these for my birthday. Collect all 250, she told Gregor. Then, I lost a couple. Were they soccer cards, Gregor wondered? You into sports? She smiled. Cold War cards from people who brought us the conspiracy theory and serial killer cards. I like these more geopolitical. She flipped a card. Gregor discerned a hill of bones. Auschwitz? She frowned. Wrong decade, wrong continent. Kampuchea, I get 5 points. She flipped another card showing a young man, college student maybe, Skulkan Nova. And an officer perhaps holding a pistol to his exploding head. Was the barrel smoking? Gregor tried not to laugh. Vietnam, Time Life covers. Woody Allen used it as wallpaper in a comedy. It half sucked the movie, not the wallpaper. Still, 5 points to you. She flipped more cards up for him to see. 6-Day War. Good, 5 more points to you. Another one. Gregor shook his head, unable to recognize him. Falkland Islands. And then another. Again, Gregor failed. East Timor. And again. Iran-Iraq War. Again. Chad. Again. El Salvador. Gregor felt tired. You want a hit? She asked, holding the joint out to him. Thanks. No, it smells like pretty good ganja. I've had better. And then, you should close the wrong window. She calmly, no, I'm sorry. You chose the wrong window, she calmly informed him. And then, I started to go into your place myself, but I heard your wife. And then a plaintiff. Don't tell my mother about my being here. Why are you here? My mom has one of her less strange boyfriends over. Still, he likes to tie her up and stuff, so sometimes I just sleep in here. She then turned from her television set and looked at Gregor. Are you okay? No, I'm sorry, she says, are you okay? I'm fine. You're bleeding. He looked at her, able to make her out in the Venetian blind weave of shadows and light. What? Down there! He touched his crotch, felt a small, warm, wet spot. My dad cut his dick once when his boyfriend was shaving him. I saw it. They didn't know I was watching, but I did. I saw it all. A pause. My dad had a few stitches, and then he was just fine after a few weeks. And then, but Mom divorced his ass. Oh. He could not handle any more of this girl child's worldliness. Take care. Close the window after I climb out. Latch it. Okay. Gregor climbed out of the vacant condo unit next to his and went to his own open window. Pulled himself up and then crawled into his and Justine's condo. A blue light played over the room as the documentary footage of Hiroshima's famous blast, famous burns, famous shadows, and famous atomic dome was shown. Gregor would have turned the sound off too. He found the dining room empty. Chip's jacket was carefully draped, hung over the back of the dining chairs. His wife and her principal could be heard speaking quietly in the bedroom. Gregor momentarily saw 1,000 points of light from outside, and the cast shadows of the blinds dance across the bodies of his wife and her boss as they thrashed, two tigers in a dance of fearless symmetry. Gregor went back to the dining room, found Chip's jacket, and reached in for the keys to his Jaguar that Justine had told him about. Gregor managed to quietly remove the keys as he listened to them. Do you mind if I handcuff you, Justine? After a decent interval, her boss Chip asked if he could shave her. Gregor could not hear her reply. After a longer interval, her boss asked if she would have her labia pierced, wear a ring, and Justine said, maybe. The confiscated beeper went off, signaling desire for controlled substances. Gregor Ranevsky found Chip's Jaguar convertible in one of the guest parking stalls by the entrance. The personalized license plates were a dead giveaway. Discipline! Gregor put on his blue bicycling gloves from a couple of years ago, when he'd occasionally ride to the beach with Justin before she wound up doing all that overtime to keep warm in the Jag to avoid any incriminating prints. He got into the upholstered English beast on the driver's side, dropping the envelope to Nora, the LA Weekly reporter on the passenger seat. Fortunately, the roof was down, so he wouldn't have to struggle with it. Gregor strapped himself into the plush leather driver's seat and then started the car, careful not to gun it. He slowly reared out of the space, pulled out of the guest parking lot. He was halfway down the dark street, looking at the lights of the distant night shoot through the rearview mirrors, when it occurred to him he hadn't turned on the car's headlights. After fumbling a bit, he found them and set the high beams on, so drivers of oncoming cars would know a Jag was approaching. He turned left on Imperial towards the cheap motels, cheaper bars, and not so cheap whores on corners or standing in closed or abandoned storefronts. Cher thought of that streetwalker with the lime leg warmers, the Cher wig, the tight leatherette pants, the black eye, and felt himself harden. The light turned from green, a rapid yellow red. He had remembered the yellow light lasting longer along this stretch of road. But it had been a while since he'd driven on it. He turned, and in the doorway of a long-closed Indonesian restaurant was that whore he'd seen, the whore Justine had seen, with the same Cher wig, but different leatherette pants, these a blood red, with higher spike heels, with pink leg warmers. But it was her all right. Gregor smiled. She came forward from the shadows, the light turned green. Need a ride, Gregor asked her. Depends. She was on the sidewalk now, near the curb. Need a good time? Her hands gripped at the door. Her other hand held a small, clean, black purse. Depends. He glanced at her. She was stoned out of her fucking gourd. Her eyes were so dilated they were about to give birth. He wondered for one wild moment if she were some sort of special agent under deep cover, but looked at her again and suppressed a laugh. By the by, what's your name? Any name you want, sugar. No, really. No, really. She smiled at him and then, since you asked first, what's your name? Gregor smiled. Call me Junior G-Man. Her teeth flashed in some sort of grimace or grin. I know a place near here, but I want you to know I'm a nice girl. I don't do anything too kinky. None of that body fluid shit. I use condoms. I know a place too. Gregor did. Let me call you Justine B. Fasten your seatbelt, please. I'm okay. Please, buckle up. You say you're okay. I want to keep you that way. Justin B. nodded agreement, but made no move to buckle up. A vacant parking garage, 5 oddly canted levels of assignation and illicit fare still patrolled, next to one of the closed space tech labs, glass and concrete bunkers. Gregor knew all the guards. It was where aerospace people went if they wanted to get laid in a car or a van or a truck or a Jeep on a Saturday night or a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday or Saturday night or any morning or afternoon. There were usually 1 or 2 gently rocking vehicles in the lot. But tonight the cemented fluorescent of level C belonged to Junior G-Man and Justin B., the Sherwig whore. Justin B. was hunched over, her blouse unbuttoned, her Cher wig slipping a bit as she bobbed up and down in her efforts to fillet some semblance of life into Gregor's now flaccid dick. Justin B., the Cher wig whore, fondled one of his testicles and then stopped, pulled her hand back. You know you're bleeding. Yeah? You should see a doctor. You're bleeding bad. Who cut you? I was being shaved. I don't know when barbers shave there. You some geeky freako motherfucker.
1 minute.
Gregor had one of his hands cupped over Justine's left breast and was reaching into Justine's beat panties to tickle her anus with his other hand. Gregor felt Justine B. clutch at his buttocks, looking for his pockets for his wallet. He smiled. It was under her seat. He probed her puckered sphincter with his fuck finger, yanked her panties down. He reached for a small, empty 50-millimeter bottle of Stoli, one of the many that Thomas had given him, broke off the metal remnant ring from the cap, and then sucked on the bottle, spat into it, and licked the bottle, tasted traces of sweet little water, deposited saliva on the empty bottle's neck. Gregor then took the just lubricated bottle and reached down and shoved the bottle halfway into Justin B., the Sherwig whore's puckered anus, slid it in further. Don't do that, honey, she said. And then, take it out now. I don't want no disease. He pulled the ball out, tossed it onto the concrete. Well then, can I handcuff you? No way, Junior G-Man, no fucking way. She stopped, looked at him. I don't do any of that weird shit. Can I shave you? Shave this motherfucker. The abalone from a blade handle and the flash steel from a switchblade came from just me, the Sherwood Corps' small purse. I told you I'm a nice girl, so you can take me back from where you picked me up. That's what you can die. I told you I don't do no keep, motherfucker. But did you listen, Junior G-Man? Put that away before you hurt somebody. I'll hurt you, fucker. He tried to reach over to slap it out of her hand, but she was too fast. She jabbed at him. He felt the blade tear at the fabric of his hands.
And then?
I'm going to stop there. And it does end with plate glass and bodies, breasts, and motion.
All right.
And then things get violent.
Oh my God.